Hey, what's up? My name is Dave, and as you know, I interpret everything, and today I'm going to be interpreting Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the incredibly long-awaited sequel to the original film that came out 36 years ago in 1988, the year I was born. And all of you guys know what Beetlejuice is, right? It's about an incredibly colorful underworld inhabited by a number of different ghosts, goblins, other creatures, including the only Beetlejuice, played once again by Michael Keaton. This time around, one of Beetlejuice's exes is gunning for him, while in the real world, other forces are at work attempting to drag the Deetses back to the land of the dearly departed. So, I'm not exactly anybody that has nostalgia surrounding Beetlejuice. I finally gave in and I watched the first movie back in March of this year. However, there's something to be said about that movie when you watch it that just feels like an instant classic, even to this day. And I have to argue that it's the practical effects, set design, costume design, makeup, claymation sequences, all that. This is stuff that most movies these days just don't touch anymore because they don't need to. In a big way, it's easier, quicker, probably cheaper to just digitize all of that, and it'll be close enough. And yet, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice clearly proves that theory wrong, as it strove to once again replicate all that practical moments that we saw in the first film, and if nothing else, the visuals in this sequel are a breath of fresh air just to see unfold nearly 4 decades after the first. This film looks, sounds, and feels like it came out a long time ago, just because the passion that it had for practical effects was astounding. Also, I feel like even though we know Michael Keaton acts younger than he is, being in his 70s, I'm still always a little bit apprehensive to see if he really can bounce back into a character, especially one as animated and as crazy as Beetlejuice is. Now, while there are moments that I felt as though Beetlejuice has for sure aged a bit, in voice and in physicality maybe, these were mostly minor changes. As for the most part, I would actually say he bounced back into character as if he'd been playing it his entire life. He just gotten a little bit older along the way. The same can be said about the Deetz family and how they feel exactly the same as before, especially Winona Ryder as Lydia, who definitely does not look almost 40 years older, and Catherine O'Hara, who plays the mom, Delia. It was incredible seeing them jump back into their characters from the first film, and the inclusion of Jenna Ortega as the newest member of their family, Astrid, that makes so much sense. She fits right in, and it only makes sense to include her after seeing her in the Wednesday series, which was also written by Alfred Gough and Miles Miller, directed by Tim Burton, and composed by Danny Elfman. Elfman, by the way, kills it with his musical score for this movie. In terms of any negatives, I would probably just say narratively it begins one way with a clear objective at the top of our minds, and then it kind of switches gears along the way, and that initial obstacle seems to be oddly ignored for a good majority of the film while we focus on the Deetz family and some hijinks regarding them, whether they're in the living or the dead. And then the initial obstacle comes back once again to finish out the film in the third act. Also, along the way, Beetlejuice considers the thing he was trying to do in the first movie, marry Lydia, to be an incomplete mission. So he tries to do that again as well, making for just a lot of stuff to be going on all at once, when in reality, it didn't need to do that. So parts of the story feel aimless, as if the film had gone through some rewrites and bits and pieces of the original scripts stuck around. I think that while you're actually watching it though, most people will have enough nostalgia to forgive all of these moments because everything else is solid. Other than the perfect display of visuals, you also have really good writing for characters, the jokes. There's some great performances all around. The musical score, like I said, was fantastic. And I would also have to say that there really is some fantastic ideas found in the narrative. I just wish it focused a bit more consistently on those moments at the end of the day. So all around, I will be giving Beetlejuice Beetlejuice a B+ letter grade. That signifies that I consider the first, which I gave an A-, to be better all around, but it's still a pretty darn close score. There are things that I prefer out of this movie, like a deeper dive into the afterworld, maybe seeing Beetlejuice and all his antics a little bit more, but narratively, the first is a bit more sound and ultimately feels more complete and classic than this. But Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But let me know what you guys thought about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice in the comment section down below. Were you a fan of this sequel? Do you prefer the first? Do you think that the sequel took a direction that you personally didn't care for? Let me know, and as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, whatever and whenever that may be. But until then, peace out!